Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 99. The Happening. Malice? Are you okay? He asked in an odd tone of his voice. It was flighty, like he was ready to jump at a moment's notice. No, Ivan, I am not. Thoughts, chaos. I feel bad. What? I shook my head. Malice. Damn it, think. Okay, who is Malice? He looked away guiltily. Headache? No. Drug addiction. I just drank some, damn it. Wait, is it affecting other than the withdrawal? Never mind. Who's Malice? He grinned awkwardly. It's stretching too far. If I said you might have been possessed, would you hurt me? Is it your fault? He shrugged. I didn't mean to, but maybe. It's fine. Didn't mean to. I've learned let accidents go. Damn! I reached into my pouch and pulled out a mana potion, then downed it so my thoughts were clearer, enough not to speak in broken English. The haze surrounding my mind, as though I had just been hit with a flashbang, began to subside as my mind gained coherence. Ivan squelched away from the gore clinging to the both of them. Try not to scream? Why would I? Think over what's happened so far. Tell me if anything doesn't add up. I'll do the same, and if you want to kill me, just let me know. Okay. I met Ivan, get a good feeling, spend time, had fun, met Ivan, explode myself, meet Catastrophe, relax on the beach, assassin poison, Catastrophe gets hurt, I go crazy. I got some of that poison in me or Catastrophe got possessed. What the hell is she? Geta. She's a panther griff, he shuffled. Malice is a god spider. Then I had a spider in my head. And what I'm feeling now are cobwebs? He nodded. Mental fragments from your shattered will, he shrugged. Cobwebs, if that makes you feel better about yourself. I sat there still for a time, before the smell of carnage I'd wrought hit me, and I rushed out of the room. Okay, next question. Why? I asked as I braced myself against the wall, taking deep breaths. He looked away and whistled.
Because I saved your life.
Out of my head, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head, out of my head. If you do not get out of my head right now, I will hellfire all over this place and it will run right back through your magic connection. I don't care if you're a god, it'll still hurt like a bitch. I glared at the wall, having nothing to target my hate and disgust at. Malice responding by blasting images into my head of spiders fleeing.
Spoil sport.
Ivan rolled his eyes. Let's keep going. He walked away without any more explanation, his hose leaving bloody tracks on the floor. Why was the spider which lives in your head crawling around in mine? I yelled. It liked you, he said nonchalantly. All I could do was cringe. And the thing that made me do that made me want to do that, is in your head all the time? He nodded. Yep. He replied without a care in the world. It was at that moment everything sank in. It was as though the most base comprehension of a subject that had been so far beyond my understanding, and suddenly mastery of it was child's play. Everything clicked and fit into place. Malice, the spider in Ivan's head, the one who brought him here, did so for some fell purpose, and is doing anything he can to ensure his little pawn survives. He's surrounded by the bloodthirsty who will protect him with their lives, while other than knowing some magic, he himself is meek and appears innocent. Nobody expects him to be the most dangerous one of all, which is how he survived. He looks at those on him as tools to use and nothing more. He'd throw their lives away in an instant, and do so with no regret after the fact. What's more, he doesn't even know he's doing it. That spider has twisted him so much that his reality has been blurred, and everyone around him becomes tangled in his web. I was manipulated into having good feelings whenever I was around him, which distracted me from what he was saying. He accidentally killed someone, was sent here, and wound up in chains. He acts innocent, but is cruel and heartless. He is a psychopath in every sense of the word, a remoteless murderer who used pity to make me harbor him. He's a danger to himself and everyone around him, and malice tugs on his little web, making those around him help him survive, only to be thrown away when they're no longer useful. He's a walking calamity. At that moment, I became certain of what needed to be done. I was positive. I had never been so sure of anything in my entire life, and I knew I had to succeed. Ivan? I paused. He turned and looked at me with the same icy cold glare, the gaze of someone who truly had something broken inside, which disturbingly reminds me of what I see when I look in a mirror. "You okay?" he asked sweetly. It sickened me how fake it was. "Ivan, you need to die!" Ivan blinked and instantly transitioned to blind panic. "What?" He started to back away. "That thing lives in you, and to get rid of it, you need to die." I slowly began walking towards him. No hate, no anger in me, simply cold, calculating. He needs to die. He needs to die. He needs to die. He needs to die. Singular in purpose, perfect in form. Nothing is standing between us. "You seem broken. Angry. You want to talk about it? We don't have to fight. Please." He stuttered. He begged. My only response was a single word. Infernus. My claws and paws became alight with dark flame as I continued stepping towards him. He backed away further before gasping in fear as he backed against the wall. "It's nothing personal." He growled, his eyes switching from scared to angry. "I will not lose here. Not while you have her." His eyes began to glow. "She'll be fine. Once you're gone, she'll be free from the misfortune that follows you. I'll see to it personally." He shook. "Shut up! I'll kill you! Don't get closer! Back off!" I didn't. I kept walking forward. A wave of magic came forward, but instead of its intended effects, it merely caused the flames at my feet to flare up temporarily. Get back! I'll kill you!" His eyes were harsh, cold, and intense. The eyes of a murderer. Mine may very well have been glazed over. "We already saw how well that worked," I replied emotionlessly. He seemed at a loss for what to do. I knew it was a bluff. His skill lay in magic, not much that can do against these flames. "Why are you doing this?" he asked, seeing his bluff fail. "As if you don't know." He collapsed against the wall, tears falling. Fake tears, by the way. As if I'd be fooled by that after the display he just gave. He trembled as I reached forward with my inflamed claw. A simple poke should be enough. It'll kill him and burn away the demon living in him. And that'll be it. I'm not a bad guy. I just want to be safe," he whimpered pathetically. "Sarah, I'm sorry." "Griffin!" Much to my surprise, I was tackled by the side, the shock causing me to lose hold on the spell, which made it dissipate. I hissed and growled, only to find that it was Gilda who had knocked me over, right before she planted a fist into my forehead, dazing me. My vision was blurred, and I couldn't find any balance. I was all woozy all over, but I could hear voices fine, and saw blurs of colors of the griffin and zebra. Ivan stood up. "I need to get out. I'm out. He's not right. I need out. Out! Need out. How's Catastrophe?" His voice shook, and he sniffed pathetically.
This way. She'll be fine, but I think you need to get off the ship. He's always been mentally unstable. Whatever happened must have screwed him up good.
Gilda replied. No. No, 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 no!
He needs to die. Gilda, you have to kill him. Don't let him fool you.
I'm out. I just... No. He's scrambling for words. Tell him I hope he gets better, and that maybe just... Ask him why. He turned to me, no longer crying, close enough that I could see the grin on his face that was way too similar to the grin Light Yagami wore when Elle died. Why? He asked again.
You know damn well why. You need to die, damn it.
I love her. Why would you take that from her? Don't guilt trip me, you bastard! No! Gilda! Kill him! He needs... With that, she opened a vial of knockout gas and waved it in front of my face, then closed it back up. He jerked away from Gilda. I just wanted to help, he growled. Malice saved him. Once I had heard that, the gas took effect, and all was dark except evil laughter. Laughter that tormented with every sound. In my unconsciousness, I dreamed. I dreamed of terrible, terrible things. I heard dark and terrible screams, and what I saw, I found myself in a great chamber which pulsed and oozed as though it were alive. It was a long hallway, ribbed and slimy. Across the tube, which could only be described as the inside of someone's intestines, was a great web. With the web were hundreds upon hundreds of flies, and on it was a spider of titanic proportions. It was a black widow, wore a top hat, and used a cane to poke at one of the trapped flies, which elicited a scream in response.
Well, have anything to say?
The spider asked, moving its mandibles dripping with venom, before he sank them into the screaming stack, which was soon silenced. I screamed. I screamed, and I screamed, and I screamed, and I screamed.
What a wonderful sound.
I suddenly found that my beak was covered with the sticky web. I could barely breathe, and started squirming and struggling to rip the gag off. In response to my struggles, the spider simply covered me in more web till I was all wrapped up, with only my head sticking out. It pulled me in with a line of web as I screamed through the gag, tears flowing from my eyes. He stuck me on a line of web, and that was when I was struck by the true horror. In those web sacks were not flies. I could see their shapes, and their heads stuck out. They were ponies. Earth ponies, pegasi, unicorns, griffins, diamond dogs, dragons, snake things, cats like Nadine, and in the center of the web, directly under the spider, was a zebra. It was Ivan. This spider. To it, we were the flies.
I saved you, you know. I sent the spider in your coffee to warn you of events to come. I gave you the strength to learn what you needed from that assassin and weakened their honed mind to the point that it would break. She was telling the truth that final time, and you killed her anyways. It was beautiful. And how do you thank me? You rejected me. You tried to kill my pawn in this game, and you threatened me. Where are your brave words now?
Despite the fact that my mouth was covered and I couldn't talk, even if I could, I would have been able to do nothing but cry and whimper.
As I thought. A shame, too. You could have been so useful. Now I'm afraid you're a danger to my plans, and I'll have to be rid of you.
The spider crawled over to me, along its web, and perched itself above me. It looked straight into my eyes with its own, before precariously perching each of its fangs on my shoulders, one on either side of its head. The venom dripping from it was burning a hole straight in my web sack. The spider hissed, reared back and prepared to bite. Another voice boomed so loudly it threw the spider off guard, and the entire cavern shook.
No, this can't be!
You know well the rules of the game! Release him!
The voice boomed again. The spider, Malice, actually seemed terrified of this newcomer. The web surrounding me caught alight with black flames, dropping me to the ground as the rest of the web began to burn.
No, no!
Malice cried, furiously trying to patch up the web while I scuffled backwards away from it. In attempting to patch it, his leg caught alight and began to burn. In an act of desperation, he used his massive fangs to bite off his own leg, then severed about a third of his web to stop the rest from burning.
Let that be a lesson to you.
I have no idea who the greater voice was, but I don't think I've ever been more thankful to anything or anyone in my entire life.
As for you, little Griffin, now's the time to awake. And see you soon.
I awoke, gasping for breath in a cold sweat, shaking and shivering all over. Is this what it's like when gods go to war? Everything is... I shook my head and tried to get my breathing under control. I stumbled out of bed, falling several times before I reached the intercom, and practically smashed it before I was able to get someone on the other end. Help me! Hold on, Griffin, we're coming now. Cable's voice on the other end was calm, but did little to reassure me. Soon enough, there was a rush of footsteps and my door opened, and Gilda, Nadine, and Gearman were standing there looking at me. I was a complete wreck, huddled up under the PA box, eyes shot wide open, fetal position and everything. Wow, I'm pathetic. And now I'm doing a self-pity party thing. Damn it all, I am not gonna become an emo.
Griffin, what the hell happened? First you try to kill Ivan for no reason, and now you wake up looking like you got dragged through a spiderweb.
At her mention of spider, I screeched and dove across the room from where I was to the opposite corner. It took nearly an hour to get me to calm the hell down. And when I did, Ivan needs to die.
What?
He really does have a spider in his head. He's possessed by malice. Gilda, we were manipulated. When I saw what I saw when I was asleep, ponies, griffins, diamond dogs, dragons, and dozens of other species. Millions of people in a spider web. He was eating them, Gilda. They were screaming in fear and agony, and he was eating them. And he tried to eat me. He was so close. But then there was this voice. It was so angry. Malice was afraid. I don't know if I want to meet anything that can scare that thing, but it said, "See you soon." I'm scared, Gilda. I am fucking scared. And that's not the half of it.
I don't understand.
The reason I've been having such a good feeling about Ivan is because that damn spider had me on his end of the web and was tugging me. He made me get close and then went into my head. The assassin. I tortured her. I made her body parts explode one at a time and then I killed her. I thought she broke easy, and she did, because the spider did that too. I liked doing it, Gilda. And then Malice jumped the ship and suddenly good feeling gone. I saw Ivan for what he was.
Which is?
A murderer, Gilda. We may have killed people, but we always did it for a reason. Him? He just does it. He doesn't care, not even slightly, about the pain he causes others. He seems innocent and afraid, but he's a monster, Gilda. And he has that thing living inside him. He needs to die. He has to die. I sat there in silence for a time, to allow what I said to sink in. That was when Gilda surprised me.
Griff, he's a hero. What? While you were out, we found other assassins. There were 3 of them. Ivan killed them, and after he did it, he told me that there were ships coming to attack. The assassins were just there to take out the defenses. 7 ships, Griff. 7, and not just rust buckets. Honest warships. They dove out of the clouds and started shooting. We sank them before they fired their 3rd volley. We saved everyone's lives, Griff. We may have been fine on the ship, but the town would have been defenseless. His warnings gave us time to prepare. We moved everyone into the clouds. About half the town was gone, but nobody died. We can rebuild, especially with the materials we got from the ships we knocked down. He saved everyone's lives. Then he left, saying it's too bad about whatever's going on in your head, and he hopes you get better. Griff, he left because he thought he was the problem, and didn't want you to get any worse.
I sat there in shock. Pure and utter shock. But Malice, he is the problem. He needs to die, Gilda.
Griff, I think it's time you take Celestia up on her offer.
You have problems, and up until now they haven't been an issue, but... She let out a sad sigh.
You tortured that dog, not some unholy spider. You. You can't put the blame on anything else. And then I come in here and see you quaking like a leaf, pale as a ghost. You're sick, Griff. You're very, very sick. And it's tearing me up seeing you like this. You need help.
Doesn't she get it? She hasn't seen what I've seen. She doesn't believe me. None of them believe me. And what's worse, they have every right. If I hadn't seen what I've seen, I hadn't seen the look of pure glee he had when I tortured the assassin. If I hadn't seen him drop his mask of helplessness and threaten to kill me with that glare in his eyes, if I hadn't seen any of that, I'd think I was crazy too. I'm not crazy. Am I? Gilda, let's go to Canterlot.